Yeah. So sweet.
You still need a pass tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to pass tomorrow. So did you bring your book of passes and your VNAP with you? Now, one of the reasons you're here tonight is because you just got a very special award, right?
Right.
I know
I don't
she's
trust you,
embarrassed
John,
about
I'm
it.
sorry.
But, she is the Dean of the Year of Illinois, right?
Yes.
Now, she got a very nice plaque, so we're going to, she brought that with her tonight. Actually, she didn't bring it. We told her to go get it. She was a little too, so you can zoom in on that. So, I guess you're really proud to get this award, aren't you?
Yes,
Did it
I
make you really
was.
happy? What exactly does it mean to be Dean of the Month? Did who voted on that?
Okay, Dean of the Month is a nomination done by your superintendent. I received that award last year. Dean of the
Okay, I
Year.
remember when you were on the show last
Right.
year. We brought that up.
Dean of the Year is voted in by your peers, which would be the deans from the state of Illinois. And there's a committee chosen of 5 deans, and they go through all of the membership profiles. And first thing you have to do is to score so many points in all the different areas. And then from there, you have to be nominated first by a fellow dean, and then there has to be so many recommendations turned in then by people in your school, teachers, administrators, and they say sometimes students. In my case, I have yet to find out, I found out who turned in the original nomination, but I have not found out
You mean you didn't find out it was the WCHS Today staff that
No.
we walked around with our pickets in front of. So I guess, like I say, you feel really good. When did you find out that you got the award? Was it like a surprise?
It was a
thing?
total
I mean,
surprise.
Like, when did you actually get it?
I received it last Wednesday night at the Illinois State Deans Association
You were
banquet.
gone at the convention, right? Where was
Yes.
that at?
It was in Champaign at the Ramada Inn. And we had a banquet the first night, and as part of the banquet festivities, the letters
Okay.
are read,
Mhm.
they go over all the qualifications, and then they announce the winner. And I did not realize they were talking about me because the definitions fit a lot of people that I knew.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I heard one phrase from one letter that
What was that?
was fair and friendly.
Fair and friendly. So that describes you, huh?
Well, I just heard Mr. Torrey use it so often, I
Fair
knew
and
it was
friendly.
him.
Oh, he wrote that one in. So a lot of people around the school, teachers and stuff, submitted your name in. So,
I have no
so that means
idea
that people, though, around the school had to
Yes.
do that. So
There had to be input. You had to serve, first of all, in so many service organizations, community work.
so there
you
were
had
some
to-
like qualifications,
you
and,
had-
and after you
yes.
met those,
You had to be an officer
then
or
the fellow
chairperson.
deans voted on it,
Yes.
right?
yes.
So they think you're one of the best too, huh, for the year.
Evidently.
Now, what goes along with being Dean of the Month? Is there anything, or Dean of the Year? Is there anything you have to do, or is it just an honorary title?
It's an honorary
I
title.
mean, do you like travel around the world and
No, they don't even give you 10 cents for a cup of coffee.
not even 10 cents for? Well,
No, but I will serve
we gave
now.
you a free Pepsi.
All right. I will now serve on the committee to choose next year's Dean of the Year.
So that's
We'll
really
have
the
to
only
sit down
thing.
and,
There's no
sit
big,
through.
big
No.
job that goes along with it, or any.
No, other than all the different other offices and meetings you're going to attend.
So it's
because
just
of
so
it.
it's just a real big honor then. Yeah.
Right.
Now you didn't know we were going to do this because it wouldn't have been as much fun. But we handed out some cards before the show, and we asked people of our audience and staff why they thought you should have been Dean of the Month. Because obviously people here think that you're a good dean too. So I'll just read some of these. This one says, Mrs. Knapp should be Dean of the Month because she is my friend. I always want my friends to have nice things. She deserves it. She does so much beyond her job requirements. Question. When do you want to go shopping again?
Oh,
Signed,
Mrs.
Katie.
Druin.
Katie. Be K. Druin.
Tomorrow at 3:30.
Tomorrow at 3:30, you guys are going
There's a
shopping.
sale.
huh?
Oh, all right.
How's-
Want to check out the new pair of socks?
Mike Heffield wants to go along. You wouldn't mind, would you? I think she should be Dean of the Year because My dad bought a lake. And what kind?
Oh, I know who that is.
Says,
And
okay.
no, he doesn't live on a lake, but close to it.
And what kind of lawnmower should I use for my lawn is the question. She should be Dean of the Month because she keeps people in line and she relates well to everybody's needs. So that
That's
one's
very
unsigned.
nice.
But somebody out there. Mr. Woodward.
What was it signed, Mrs.?
She keeps.
Did you make coffee too?
Yeah,
I even serve it in the morning.
she keeps serve it coffee in Mrs. Knapp's office. She keeps people in line, but she relates to everybody. So I guess that
Someone
means.
wrote the same thing twice.
Well, it's similar to the same thing. What are you
No,
checking?
that's not Mr. Woodward's handwriting. You
that's
can
not.
read it.
Another shot. So I guess what that person's mean is you're strict, yet you're nice. I guess that's what it means. I think she should be Dean of the Month because I don't know anyone better for the job. Question: who is her barber? Most people usually ask who Mr. Woodward's barber is, so I guess they.
I have a
guess they,
question for you, John.
You have a
What did
question
you
for-
write?
What did I didn't get a chance for a card.
Well,
but
you can do it
I-
right now then. See,
I
I feel
think-
like turning the tables tonight. I'm not the same shy person of last year.
You're not naive this year. Did you take a
No.
crash course and
All
getting
day.
interviewed on WCHS Today during the summer? You took that out at ICC, right? Well, we're gonna get Donna Rogers here tonight too. She's gonna find out what it's actually like to sit in the #1 chair. And
I think
Get
she'll be
drilled.
able to handle it very well.
I think Mr. Woodward, he didn't write it down, but I think I can express his sentiments. That he would feel you ought to be Dean of the Year because you're so much fun in Sea Lunch. I think that's what, I have yet to eat in the teacher's lounge during Sea Lunch, but I've heard stories that it's just a fun group. Mrs. Druin, Mother Druin, as we affectionately refer to her, is in there, and just sounds like a good group.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, when you graduate from here, we'll invite you back.
Are you
We'll
serious?
Eat with us.
Oh,
Yes.
I'll come back from college just for that. You might graduate, you might get out early. I don't know if you'll graduate early. So you got Dean of the Month because I guess a lot of it's because Dean of the Year. I keep saying Dean of the Month. I'm still from last year.
was last
Dean
year.
of the Year this year, and then what? At the end of the century, Dean of the Century, and.
I'm old, but not that old.
Official Dean of the Winter Olympics.
Did you get the '88 Summer Olympics? You'll be the official dean. Except you won't just be working
No,
with.
my goal is to become dean
truant
of the high
people.
school band next.
So speaking of the high school band, speaking of the high school band, that's one of the other things you're involved in, right? You're in charge of the flags, right?
Flag and rifle.
What do you
Corps,
do
yes.
in charge of that? Do you?
Basically, because I'm not a dancer and I can't twirl the rifle, after a woman comes in and teaches the routines, we just change them to fit our needs. And basically, I'm there to make sure they know what they're supposed to do and to keep them practicing.
So you serve kind of like Uncle Woody does. You just keep everybody in line, but yet you don't really do anything. Is that?
Oh, I think I
I-
do something.
No, I know. So somebody does come in and actually teach
Yes.
them the routines, but then you kind of help them out with it.
What I can.
So do you have to attend their practices?
I attend all the practices.
How many do they have?
We practice 3 weeks in the summer.
Hmm.
1 week is just 2 hours each day. In July, we have a camp here that is 12 hours a day for 5 days that they practice. And then we go to band camp with the marching band.
So that
For a
keeps you
week.
busy during the summer. Do you have any
Right.
summer vacation?
I get 2 weeks.
You get 2 weeks?
Mhm.
So do you work at all those as far as being a dean during the summer?
I
Or
work
is it just the
2 weeks after school's out and 2 weeks before it starts.
what,
Doing
accumulating,
reports, getting things ready for first day of school.
finding out who's not coming back?
That's true.
Stuff. Yeah, you're getting off hours. I guess one thing else recently I heard we worked on was a drug program here involved with the in-school suspension program. You want to tell a little bit about that? I really don't know much about it, but I heard about it. And I heard you were in charge and you wrote a little booklet about it.
all I really did was edit the final book. Mr. Woodward and Mrs. Roper, and Mrs. Larson, Mr. Plessner, and about 3-4 other teachers sat down and pulled together all of the resources that we have in the school, and then I believe it was Mr. Woodward who assigned every person a chapter to write, and I was in charge of.
Let's hear it for Mr. Woodward.
Good work. We then put all the chapters together, and it was my job as being the ex-English teacher among the group to rewrite and check the spelling and all those nice
Mr.
things.
Woodward was the ex-janitor of the group, so like, what does he do, you know? I don't know. He went in there just
From
just in
there,
time.
we've printed the book. It's 86 pages, and it has been sent to the State Board of Education, the governor, and then, of course, Nancy Reagan had asked for a copy of it. And it basically tells what the school, the community, and the law enforcement officials of Washington and the tough love parents and support groups do. From there,
So
we
does it
went
like
into...
give guidelines on how
gives
to
guidelines,
how to
explains
handle drug
everything that, yes, it explains what we are currently doing and what we plan to do in the future. And from there, we wrote a program called Self-Help, which is a self-referral program that students with problems, drug-related, alcohol-related, or any other type of problems, and they do not feel comfortable talking with the deans or the counselors, can go see a special counselor that's confidential.
So this booklet, you said, will be sent to those people. Will it be sent to other schools?
Yes, I started
Or
out with,
if they
they've
request
already
it, or-
been, yes, we've had several
So
requests.
is the book, is it getting some publicity? Except for
Yes,
this
it is.
show. I mean, you know, do you want to give an address? I know that, what publisher? Are you with Simon and Schuster now?
Anyone who would like a copy, all they have to do is contact Mr. Woodward.
Extension 25.
Right.
Or what's the extension of the teacher's lounge?
44.
44.
Or extension 24. Ask her
Um,
Mrs. Knapp.
And we're talking about the drug problem. I know we didn't really get into this last time you heard it all, but do you think the drug problem's a big problem here at Washington High School?
Yes, I do. Because with drugs, I relate alcohol as part of it.
So you definitely consider alcohol a
I
drug?
think alcohol, yes, I do. I think alcohol is probably one of the #1 problems, not only with our kids, but with all high school.
Do you think most kids drink alcohol?
Oh, I'm willing to guess I wouldn't be very far off that a high percentage of our kids party on weekends.
Johnny, you mad now?
But none of our administrators. What about other drugs? You know, like some of the other drugs, you know, that
I'm
get the
sure,
publicity.
from what
Do you
I've
think-
gathered and from what I've picked up at a lot of parties, there are, where you find the beer kegs, a lot of times you will find the marijuana. We're not naive enough to believe that we do not have marijuana in our school, and some lookalikes.
Is it a problem, do you think, with use on the school grounds at all, or is that not a problem at all?
It's there, it's just harder to catch than it used to be. Students have
You
become a
think
little
it's
more,
so? Do you think it's used
refined.
less now, or they're just hiding it better, or what?
no, I don't think they're using it as much during school hours as they did before.
Do you think they're using it as much, period, as they did before? Because there's been a lot of you know, and it started here, and way back as when I was a freshman when Dave Toma came. You know, it started. You know, they started that
My
program.
personal-
And all that. Do you think that that's really helped?
My personal feeling is that we have less of a problem than we had before
Mhm.
with drugs per se. But in its place, I think my own feelings are that we feel that alcohol is not a drug, and we have a lot of kids, I think, that do experiment with it. So I think
With
we still
alcohol,
have
you
an
say?
alcohol problem. We do not see
So you
it
say
in
just
the
'cause they're not
building or on
using-
the grounds as much as we used to. Suspension rates and the referrals and from what,
Yeah.
you know.
But if
we-
it's used on the weekend, you're still worried about it then.
Yeah, very much so.
Do you think it's worse at other schools, from what you know? I mean, do you have any contact with deans? I mean, I know you do because, you know, like of this convention you were at. Do you have any
Yes.
idea of whether it's worse
I'll
at
tell you
other
one thing
schools?
I've learned at going to some of these conventions, and that is sometimes you get depressed and you think, how are you going to continue? We got this problem, that problem, and you go to one of these conventions and you find out that there's schools and people who have more problems than you do, and this is really a piece of cake.
So you really think we are lucky here in that?
I don't think the students at this high school and in this community realize how lucky they are compared to a lot of school systems.
What about other discipline problems? How have, we're into the year pretty well. It's the end of November. We've had, 3 months of school now.
And
How do you
it's been
think
fun.
discipline's been this year?
It's been
It's a overall
quiet
problem.
overall. The students,
Let's do it,
All right.
guys. We can do it, John.
We can do it.
Here we go.
Of course, you didn't mind when we held up the IMC or anything like that. That didn't. No, we do our fun things.
I think we
but,
found out in talking to the teachers in that most of them are commenting the same way. The student body is one of the better student bodies we've had in many years. We haven't had the problems with freshman classes with what you would consider the typical freshman the last 2 years.
Freshman.
We've been fortunate enough that we seem to have a much more mature senior class than we
All
had.
right, just.
But teachers are saying they're not having the problems in the classroom.
Just even
You
as
haven't
much
talked
as
to
like.
Mr. Moss, have you?
It's like just even like with kids talking and stuff, that you think they're taking it more seriously?
I think so.
Now, do you think it's just the group of kids, or do you think it's really kind of changing? I know when you were here last year, you said that you thought, I think I asked you, like, over the last 10 years, if it had gotten better, and you said you thought it had. So do you think the whole thing's getting better?
Oh,
mean,
I
do you
think
think-
so. I
you
think
think the
that
whole-
with what the economy is like and the emphasis on education, I think I see walking these halls a more serious student. Granted, we
Because they
still have
realize that they
those
have
that
to-
don't believe in carrying books around.
or who leave their book bag in somebody's car and don't realize it till 8 o'clock the next morning.
I feel as the years have gone on that we have a more talented student body than we've had in years. They're sure a lot smarter than when I went to school.
Yeah, there was no show like this when you were in school, right?
Because we
There
didn't
was
have
no
Oh, there was television.
radio.
There was
But I don't think-
television. Yeah, it was.
You know, you kids take a lot for granted. You have a television show, you have athletic events, you have a marching band, you have a chorus, you have a lot of things. When I was in high school, and it wasn't that many years ago, the student body never attended an athletic event because those were closed events. The only one who went to a game were the participants.
How come that was?
Safety reasons.
They didn't have a room.
I happened to go to school in the early 60s.
Where did you go to school at?
I went to school in the city of Chicago.
Oh, so you did you go to school with Mr. Woodward, or
No, he belonged to the rich suburb areas. I belonged to the inner city.
and he still belongs to the rich suburb areas? It's just he brings in those huge bucks. Fill us in on the big number. How long you plan on staying here? I asked you this last time, and you said you were going to stay a while. We just wondered,
You
do
just
you have any
wondered,
plans
huh?
to leave or yet? I know you said you really didn't before.
No, I always said that when I had my 20 years then, it was time to retire and stay home
When
I'll
will
have
20 years be for you?
next year.
Oh.
But I have no plans of leaving.
So you're going to stay? You're going to stay past your 20 years?
Yes.
Because you don't want
Hopefully.
to let down these kids.
Oh, sure.
And most of all, you don't want to let down Mr. Drew and Mr. Woodward, because what will they do during lunch?
I can come in.
Mrs. Druin will just have to go back to taking away IMC passes, and it just won't. And she just, it's fun, but and what will Mrs. Teven do? That's the question.
You know, John, you're going to pay for all of this.
I have a
I'd like to
feeling.
check in the IMC.
I have some feeling that by the time I graduate, all this is going to come back to haunt me. I'm gonna have my hand out for my diploma, and something's going to happen.
You get Fred instead.
I'll get Fred instead. That's the old show mascot. Well, I want to thank you a lot for being here, and we're going to bring on Donna Rogers here for a few minutes, but you can slide down the couch, as they say.
Okay.
You call it a couch. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome